The National Association of Realtors has settled the commission lawsuits for $418 million, and the proposed settlement leaked all the end of last week. So what I know is that agents, brokerages, teams, if you're in the real estate space at all, you've got to be preparing for the changes that are coming in mid-July. And I'm going to share a couple key points here to help you prepare your business now so you're ready when everything does make the change later this year. If you get some value out of this, you like what you hear, or you want to schedule a time to talk about your business, subscribe to the channel, click on the bell for notifications, and use the link in the comments to schedule a time to talk. And this settlement, it's been coming for a long time. This should not come as a surprise for anybody that NAR settled. We can talk about that at length. Really, there's three things I see coming out of this that are three key takeaways. One, compensation is coming off the MLS across the board. There's still the ability for a seller to compensate a buyer agent. It's just not going to be specifically disclosed like it is now. Number two, buyer agency contracts are going to be required before showing property, and this could present some problems for people based on how you're running your business right now. And number three, not every brokerage is covered in this settlement. So if you're in one of the brokerages that was not named, I'd be talking to your attorneys and your legal team and understanding what all that means. I'm going to focus on the first two here in the video today. So compensation's coming off the MLS. So what that means is when you take a listing, I'd be developing a system so you're not fielding call after call after call if you're paying a buyer agent commission or not. Whatever that system is, it could be an email blast, it could be a notification that gets sent out. Come up with a system to minimize these phone calls, because that's going to be a time waster and it's going to take you away from your business. When it comes to compensation coming off the MLS, I'd get in the practice of a buyer agent as verifying that compensation before you go out and show a property so you can properly advise your client. This may seem simple. It's some of the most important advice you're going to get, because this is how commercial real estate has gone for years. Now, then there's the flip side of the buyer agency contract being required before showings. So as an agent, what I would be pivoting towards is, let's face it, we've been talking about how important it is to have a buyer consultation on this show internally at our team. You've heard me say that at length. Well, now it actually is more important. The talking that I've been doing, it's going to be forced consumption here. So you've got to make sure your buyer presentation is on point. Are you clearly delivering your value there? Can you show what you do differently than the average agent? Because if you can't communicate that, you're not going to be able to win buyer clients. And this all of a sudden became the same approach as a listing appointment. Can you bedazzle this person? Can you come in to the consumer and show them all the reasons they should work with you so it's really easy? And that's going to go a long way in helping you to position yourself as the expert and the person they ultimately hire. So I'd be repping that buyer presentation, making it better, stacking the cool. And there may be things you do that you're not properly communicating to the buyers. That's got to be part of this. So those are some tactical things. Here's the overall picture here, and I want to give you some advice here. One is, anytime disruption happens, it's real easy to lose focus. I would make sure you stay focused on your business and focused on the things that are helping you secure more clients, make money, and sell houses. Once you get away from that and you lose that focus on your core competency, your business is in way more trouble than some legal disruption that's coming from this NAR commission case. That's number one. You've got to stay focused on your business and finding people that are going to transact no matter what, because they fit into that, and you got to have those conversations with them. Don't start shooting your mouth off about talking about this lawsuit. Instead, focus on your client's needs, whether it's a buyer or a seller, and normally that's going to go a long way. When you make it about the person and not the property and not the process, that's what consumers want. They care about them, not how you're getting paid or what this lawsuit means. It's how are you going to get them into a house, or how are you going to sell their house? That is point number one. Point number two here is that there's going to be a lot of lift from this. It's not necessarily a bad thing getting a commitment from folks before you start showing them properties, because invariably when I talk to agents, they get burned by buyers. They get ghosted, right? We've done videos about this. Well, if you're properly running your presentation and showing that this is the way things are done now based on this settlement with NAR, Well, the good news is you're going to have a contractual obligation with people to work with you, and there's going to be a lot more protections there. This is a massive lift for the industry, and it's going to be really important that you understand the paperwork, you understand the transparency and the importance about fees and what's going on with each individual sale, whether or not it's being cooperatively compensated, and that's going to help you find the clients that you want to work with. So you might have to even have higher volume conversations. You might need to go through more appointments, but instead of chasing business and kind of hoping things go your way, your intake process is going to have to be a lot stronger. I'd be looking at how strong are you at follow-up, how strong are you at appointment setting, how strong is your appointment in general, can you explain all the documents, and are you delivering value, right? That's point number 2. Point number 3, and there was a lot to unpack there, right? Having that killer process, your value proposition, that's all really important. Point number 3, I got this value point from Sharon, who is a major force in the real estate space. Sharon, major shout out here. Focus on education, not defending, right? A lot of people are going to get defensive. And when you get defensive, there's negative energy that comes off in these conversations that you're having with folks. And when you shoot to educate and help people, the ones that want help will be naturally attracted to you. So you've got to know everything about these new rules and regulations and lawsuits. You've got to know everything about what documents to present when, what your state requires, what the minimum acceptable standard is for an agent on the buyer side and on the seller side, and then all the things you do differently. You've got to have everything from an educator's standpoint. If you approach your business like that when it comes to consumers, remember, consumers want guidance. They want someone to walk them through the process. They want to make sure they're able to hit their dates and times and deadlines and make their move happen. That's all about education. It's not about defending why this was a bad decision or what your value is. When you show value instead of tell, that's where you're going to attract a ton of clients. So a lot to unpack here. Watch this video a couple times, because if you do that and you follow through on it, you're going to come out of this with an opportunity to be even more successful. Because let's remember, when things like this happen, when a storm comes, there's 3 options. One is to stick your head in the sand and hope it goes away. NAR already tried to do that, and they did it horribly. So that's not going to work. The second is to run away. There's going to be people that turn in their licenses that don't renew. And the third is to charge the storm head on and get through it as fast as possible and develop things in your business that are going to benefit your clients, your customers, and yourself.